Hello and welcome to another episode of Podcast Center. I'm Marco.
And I'm Katharina. We're so happy to have you here today.
How are you doing, Katharina?
I'm doing great, Marco. Excited for today's discussion. What about you?
Same here today. We have a very interesting topic, one that people have debated for years.
Yes, we're talking about love marriage vs. arranged marriage. Some people believe love marriages are all about romance and personal choice, while others say arranged marriages are more stable and have strong family support.
But which one actually works better? Do love marriages lead to more happiness, or do arranged marriages last longer? And what role do culture and tradition play?
That's exactly what we'll explore today. We'll discuss the advantages and challenges of both, share some real-life perspectives, and maybe even challenge each other's views.
So stay with us, because this conversation might just change the way you think about marriage. Alright, let's start with love marriages. Katharina, what do you think makes love marriages special?
Well, love marriages are based on personal choice. The couple gets to know each other, build a connection, and decide for themselves if they want to spend their lives together. There's a lot of emotional bonding and mutual understanding.
That's true. When the people choose each other, they usually have shared interests, similar values, and a strong emotional connection. It can lead to a deeper understanding between partners.
Exactly. And since they already know each other before marriage, they don't have to deal with the pressure of getting to know a stranger after marriage.
That makes sense. But love marriages aren't always easy, right? Sometimes, emotions fade, or people change over time. Do you think love alone is enough to make a marriage last?
That's a good question. Love is important, but commitment, respect, and compromise also play a big role. If a couple only relies on love without working on their relationship, they might face problems later.
That's where some people argue that arranged marriages have an advantage. Families play a big role in choosing the partner, which means they often consider things like compatibility, background, and long-term stability.
Yes, arranged marriages are usually built on trust not just between the couple, but also between their families. In many cultures, parents believe they have more experience and can make a better decision for their children.
And because families are involved, there's usually strong support. If a problem comes up in the marriage, both sides have relatives to guide and help them.
That's true. But don't you think there's a risk? What if the couple isn't happy together? In some arranged marriages, people don't even get to meet properly before their wedding.
That's a fair point. Some arranged marriages happen with very little interaction, and that can be difficult. But in modern times, many arranged marriages allow the couple to meet and talk before making a decision.
That's definitely better. I think whether it's love or arranged, the key is understanding and respect. If two people are willing to make it work, any marriage can be successful.
I agree. But let's go deeper. What do studies and statistics say about which type of marriage lasts longer? And how do different cultures view this debate?
That's a great point, Marco. If we look at research, some studies actually show that arranged marriages tend to have lower divorce rates compared to love marriages. But why do you think that is?
Well, one reason could be that arranged marriages often come with strong family support. When problems arise, the couple doesn't just rely on themselves, they have their families guiding them. In love marriages, couples sometimes feel like they have to handle everything alone.
That makes sense. But at the same time, some argue that lower divorce rates in arranged marriages don't necessarily mean more happiness. In some cultures, divorce is discouraged, and people might stay in unhappy marriages because of social pressure.
That's very true. Divorce can be seen as a failure in certain societies, and people might feel trapped even if they're not happy. Love marriages, on the other hand, might have higher divorce rates because people feel more independent and willing to walk away if things aren't working out.
Exactly. In love marriages, people usually prioritize personal happiness, while in arranged marriages, there's often a greater sense of duty to the partner, the family, and even society.
That's an interesting contrast, but let's also talk about cultural differences. In many Western countries, love marriages are the norm, while in South Asian, Middle Eastern, and some African cultures, arranged marriages are still very common. Do you think cultural upbringing affects how people see marriage?
Oh, definitely. If someone grows up in a culture where arranged marriages are normal, they might see it as the best way to find a life partner. But if they come from a culture where love marriages are expected, they might think arranged marriages are outdated or even forced.
And that's why this debate is so complex. People's opinions are shaped by their experiences, traditions, and what they see around them.
Right, but now I have a question for you. Marco, if you had to choose between love and arranged marriage, which one would you prefer?
Oof, that's a tough one. I think love marriage has its charm because you choose your partner based on personal feelings. But I also see the value in arranged marriages where families help find a good match. Maybe a mix of both would be ideal.
A mix? Like what?
You know, something like a modern arranged marriage where families introduce potential matches, but the final decision is completely up to the couple after they get to know each other.
That actually sounds like a good balance. Love and compatibility, but with family support.
Exactly. But let's ask our listeners, what do you think? Do you prefer love marriages or arranged marriages? Or do you believe a mix of both is the best approach?
That's a great question for our listeners, Marco. I think people's personal experiences really shape their opinions on this topic. Some people see love marriage as a dream, while others believe arranged marriages provide stability and a strong foundation.
Absolutely. And speaking of personal experiences, let's talk about real-life examples. Do you know anyone who had a successful love marriage or arranged marriage?
Yes, I have a cousin who had a love marriage. She and her husband met in university, dated for a few years, and then got married. They knew each other very well before marriage, and their relationship was built on friendship and trust. Even after years of marriage, they are still very happy together.
That's amazing. It really shows how strong relationships can be when people choose their own partners and build a bond over time.
Exactly. But I also know a couple who had an arranged marriage, and they're doing great too. At first, they barely knew each other, but over time, they built a deep connection. They always say that love grows when two people put in the effort to understand and support each other.
That's interesting. It proves that happiness in marriage isn't about how the couple meets, it's about how they treat each other after they're together.
Yes, and I think that's why arranged marriages work well for some people. Even if the relationship starts without deep feelings, love can develop over time if there's mutual respect and effort.
That's true. But do you think expectations are different in arranged and love marriages? Like, in a love marriage, people already know what to expect from their partner, but in an arranged marriage, they have to adjust and learn everything after getting married.
Oh, definitely. In love marriages, couples often know each other's habits, likes, and dislikes before marriage. In arranged marriages, that learning process happens after the wedding, which can sometimes lead to surprises, both good and bad.
Right. And that's where patience and communication become really important. No matter how a marriage starts, if the couple doesn't communicate well, problems can arise.
I completely agree. But here's something else to think about. Do you believe love should come before marriage, or can it develop after marriage?
That's a tricky one. I think both are possible. Some people fall in love before marriage and maintain that love, while others grow to love their partner over time. It depends on the people and how they handle their relationship.
Yes, that's why there's no single right answer to this debate. Some love marriages fail, and some arranged marriages succeed, and vice versa. What really matters is how do people work together in a marriage.
Exactly. Whether it's love or arranged, trust, respect, and communication are the real keys to a successful marriage.
I love that point, Marco. Trust, respect, and communication, those are the real pillars of a strong marriage. But let's talk about one more thing. What about family involvement? Do you think family support makes a marriage stronger, or can it sometimes cause problems?
That's a great question. Family support can be really helpful, especially in arranged marriages, where families play a big role in bringing the couple together. When families are supportive, they can help solve problems and provide emotional guidance.
That's true. But sometimes too much involvement can create pressure. In some cultures, families have high expectations from the couple, which can be stressful. What if the couple wants to live differently from what their families expect?
That's where balance is important. Families can guide and support, but at the end of the day, the couple needs to make their own decisions. Too much interference can cause conflicts, especially if the couple has different views from their parents.
Absolutely. I've heard stories of arranged marriages where families try to control everything, from how the couple should live to how they should raise their children. That can create tension.
And in love marriages, the couple sometimes faces challenges if their families don't approve of their partner. Some parents worrying about cultural differences, financial stability, or even personal compatibility.
That's a real struggle. But at the same time, when families support love marriages, it can make things so much easier for the couple. Knowing that both families are happy can reduce a lot of stress.
Yes, whether it's love or arranged, family support should be about encouragement, not control. Marriage is already a big adjustment, and having the right people around you can make a huge difference.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about something even more interesting. How does the concept of marriage itself change over time? Do you think younger generations look at marriage differently from their parents?
Oh, absolutely. Marriage today is very different from how it was in the past. In older generations, marriage was often seen as a duty, something that had to be done at a certain age. Now, younger people want more freedom in choosing their partners, and many focus on personal happiness rather than just tradition.
Yes, more and more people are waiting longer to get married because they want to focus on their education, career, and personal growth before committing to a lifelong relationship.
And in some places, people are even questioning whether marriage is necessary at all. Some believe that love and commitment don't need a legal contract.
That's true, but at the same time, marriage is still very important in many cultures. It represents stability, family, and a lifelong partnership.
Exactly. Marriage might be evolving, but the core idea remains the same. It's about two people coming together to build a life. The only thing changing is how they get there.
That's a great point, Marco. Marriage is evolving, but the idea of partnership stays the same.
Exactly. But do you think social media has changed relationships and marriage?
Oh, definitely. Couples now share their lives online, and sometimes that adds pressure.
Right. People compare their relationships to perfect ones they see on social media.
And that can create unrealistic expectations. Real relationships aren't always picture perfect.
Exactly. A happy marriage is about real connection, not just what looks good online.
But social media can help too. Long-distance couples can stay connected more easily.
That's true. It all depends on how people use it, whether it strengthens or harms their relationship.
Speaking of changes, what about gender roles? Do you think they've changed in marriage?
For sure, in the past, men worked while women managed the home, but that's changing.
Yes, more couples now share responsibilities, and both partners contribute equally.
And that's great. Marriage should be a partnership, not a set of fixed roles.
Exactly. But some cultures still expect traditional roles. Do you think that will change?
Slowly, yes. As education and awareness grow, people are redefining marriage dynamics.
Wow, Marco, today's conversation was really eye-opening. We explored love and arranged marriages, family roles, social media, and even how marriage is evolving over time.
Yes, and if there's one thing we've learned, it's that there's no single path to a successful marriage. Every relationship is unique, shaped by personal choices, culture, and circumstances.
Exactly. Love can grow in different ways, whether before or after marriage. Some couples start with love and build a future, while others build a future first and then find love along the way.
And in both cases, the foundation is the same: trust, understanding, and effort. Without those, no marriage, whether love or arranged, can truly work.
So true. And another thing we saw today is that marriage itself is changing. Younger generations have different expectations compared to their parents and grandparents.
Right. Many people today want equality in relationships, shared responsibilities, and personal independence. It's not just about tradition anymore, it's about finding balance and happiness.
Yes, and even though arranged marriages are still common in many cultures, they are also evolving. Many families now give couples the chance to meet, talk, and make their own decisions before marriage.
Which is a great shift. It means people are moving towards more understanding and compatibility in relationships rather than just following traditions blindly.
And that brings us to something very important: family involvement. Sometimes it's helpful, but sometimes it can create challenges. Finding the right balance is key.
Absolutely. Support from family can strengthen a marriage, but at the same time, too much interference can lead to problems. A couple needs space to build their own bond.
And that's where communication plays a huge role. Whether it's dealing with family expectations, financial struggles, or personal differences, talking things through makes a big difference.
Yes, I think we can both agree that communication is one of the most important things in any marriage, no matter how it starts.
Exactly. And let's not forget about social media. While it connects couples and helps them express their love, it can also create unrealistic expectations and unnecessary pressure.
Right. Real relationships aren't about perfect pictures or grand gestures. They're about the little things: supporting each other, solving problems together, and growing as a team.
I love that. So, after everything we discussed today, if I had to sum it up, I'd say this: a successful marriage isn't about whether it's love or arranged, it's about the effort both partners put in.
Exactly. And as times change, marriage will continue to evolve. But the core values, trust, commitment, and companionship, will always remain the same.
That's such a great way to put it. And for our listeners, we hope this conversation gave you something to think about.
Yes. And remember, no relationship is perfect from the start. What matters is how do people work together to make it better every day.
So whether it's love or arranged, traditional or modern, what's most important is that it feels right for you.
And one last thought: love is not just about finding the perfect person. It's about choosing someone and making it work together.
I love that. And with that, we'll wrap up today's episode. But this discussion doesn't have to end here.
We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you believe love before marriage is necessary? Or do you think love can grow after marriage? Let us know.
And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow us for more conversations like this.
Yes, we have many more exciting topics coming up, so stay tuned.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep questioning the world around you.
Take care, everyone. See you in the next episode.